A 37-year-old man got a girl pregnant. She told the system she was scared of him. They scheduled an interview for 3 months later, but hey, he didn't wait. By the time that interview date came, she was already gone.
These court documents detail the many times 16-year-old Zariah Dodd told people that she feared for her life and the men accused in her killing.
I asked her, how does she know my daughter, She says, I know the man that has your daughter. She said, I know Jarrell.
Adrienne says her daughter disappeared multiple times last year with 36-year-old Jarrell Davis. She was fighting for answers in a case involving a court order of protection for her daughter against Davis when a message from Zariah Dodd popped up in May asking for help.
She later said, but I'm scared to speak up. I'm 16. I'm pregnant by him. She firmly said in the message, he told me if I said anything that he had people that would kill me. I immediately turned that over to police the next day.
Adrienne went to police, and she wasn't the only one who reported concerns shared by Dodd in the months before she was shot and killed in Maryview Park over the 4th of July weekend. Court documents say 18-year-old Jacree James Gillette confessed to pulling the trigger, alleging that Davis threatened death if he did not. Davis denies these allegations, but both are charged in her murder.
When I heard that it happened, I immediately knew he had something to do with it.
Records state Dodd also told her DCS caseworker that back in December, she felt forced into intercourse with Davis when she was just 15, that he had a gun at the time and that she was scared that he would use it. DCS said the incident was reported to law enforcement in April.
It saddens me that even Zariah herself reached out.
Dodd's former kinship caregiver left the group home long before this occurred, but kept up a friendship. She says she never got the full story from the teen, who she tried to help like family.
Did she ever tell you she was scared?
No, she didn't.
The documents say Dodd left her group home on the 4th of July for a walk, but was instead picked up by Gillette. The investigation found that Dodd also texted another girl at the group home that same night that she was afraid and being driven in circles.
But now hearing all of this, that she was reaching out, it hurts me. Because it's like all of this could have been prevented.
Dodd was killed just days before she had a scheduled forensic interview in Davis's sexual conduct investigation. Those close to Dodd questioning what could have been done earlier.
Where was the protection for her in all of this? Why wasn't she moved? And why wasn't her phone being stripped?
Zariah Dodd didn't grow up in one place long enough to call it home. Before she even turned one, the state stepped in. Her mother was dealing with addiction, her father wasn't around, and the decision was made that she would be safer in state custody. That was the plan: protection, stability, care. But what that turned into was constant movement, from one group home to another, different faces, different rules, different environments, nothing steady, nothing permanent. Meanwhile, her family kept trying to bring her back. Her uncle, her aunt, her grandmother, they didn't just sit back. They showed up, they filed paperwork, they followed the process the way they were told to. And every time the answer came back the same: no. The system had her. So she stayed. And like a lot of kids placed in situations like that, she adapted. People who knew her say she had energy, she talked a lot, and she connected easily. If she cared about you, you could tell. It was real. But at the same time, she wasn't really given the chance to just be a kid. She was learning how to adjust, learning how to deal with change, learning how to get through it. Let me tell you something. Getting through it is not the same as being safe. By the time she was 15, a man named Brian Terrell Davis entered her life. He was in his mid-30s. That alone should have raised concern. But it didn't stop there. He already had a history. Years earlier, he had been involved in a case with a minor. That case was documented. He was arrested. But the outcome? Probation. No real consequence that kept him away from situations like this. So years later, nothing had really changed. And now he was connected to Zariah from what she later shared. This wasn't something that could be easily dismissed. She said he intimidated her. She said she was afraid. She also mentioned concerns about his behavior and access to weapons, even though he wasn't supposed to have them. Make it make sense. By early 2024, she was pregnant, 15 years old, and the people around her knew who the father was. This wasn't hidden. This wasn't unclear. Still, nothing moved with urgency. In April, months before everything happened, Zariah told her caseworker what was going on. She talked about the relationship. She talked about being afraid. The caseworker reported it. Police opened an investigation. On paper, it looked like something was being done. But then came the delay. The forensic interview was scheduled 3 months later. 3 months. A pregnant teenager says she is afraid of a grown man with a known history, and the response is to wait. So what? While time kept moving, he was still out. And during that time, nothing about his behavior suggested he had stopped. He had already been caught violating an order involving another teenage girl. During a stop, police found the girl with him and recovered a gun, something he wasn't supposed to have. But hey, there it was. And the result? Another light consequence, unsupervised probation, no real oversight, no one checking in. So by the time July came around, nothing had changed. Zariah was still in the system, still pregnant, still in a situation that had already been reported, but not resolved, still vulnerable, and the man she said she feared was still out. July 4th, she's at the group home. Around 8 p.m., she asks staff if she can see someone, Jacree James Gillett, an 18-year-old. They tell her no, so she asks if she can go for a walk instead. And this is where everything breaks. They say yes, it's getting dark, she's pregnant. She has already told people she planned to meet up with the father of her baby, and they still let her walk out. Like, what did they think was going to happen? She doesn't come back. Instead, she's picked up. Brian Terrell Davis is there, Jacree Gillett is there, all three of them together. And from that point on, the timeline tightens. 6.5 hours later, a gunshot is picked up in the area of Maryvale Park. Just one. That's all it took. The next morning, her body is found. 16 years old, 1 gunshot wound, still pregnant. Her daughter, who she had already named, never gets the chance to live outside of her. And, just like that, it's over. At first, details don't come out clearly. Even the initial report misidentified her age. But her family already knew. They had the case number. They knew exactly who it was. Meanwhile, detectives start putting things together. They trace her last movements. They connect her to Davis. They confirm he was the father of the unborn child. Then comes the turning point. Jacree Gillett talks. He tells detectives that Davis ordered him to shoot her, that if he didn't, both of them would be killed. He claims he was scared. Now, whether people believe that or not, that's up to them. But the outcome doesn't change. Zariah is gone, her child is gone, and 2 people are now tied to it.
This week marks 5 months since the body of Zariah Dodd was found. The 16-year-old was found shot and killed in a West Valley park. Now her former foster mom is speaking one-on-one with me about what this loss means to her and why she's afraid the system failed Zariah.
She was resilient, she was bubbly, but it was more than that. Zariah had so much fire. She has so much compassion.
Richland Fox is Zariah Dodd's former foster mom.
Zariah she was 13 years old when I took her in. She was a prayer that was answered.
3 years later, in July of this year, Zariah was living in a group home in Surprise and 22 weeks pregnant. She was found the morning of July 5th, shot and killed in Maryview Park. Her unborn daughter also killed.
When I got that, it immediately was painful. My heart sunk. I say all the time that my cries filled my apartment complex.
18-year-old Jacree James Gillett and 36-year-old Jarrell Davis face murder charges in connection to the deadly shooting. Davis is also charged with sexual misconduct with a minor after officials determined he was the father of Dodd's unborn child.
My concern is they knew about her pregnancy, so in my head, immediately there should have been action.
Fox says she wishes that action had come from both the Department of Child Safety and police.
That man knew the location where she was at, so there should have been action where she was put in some kind of protective custody. Her phone should have been stripped because she was still contacting that man. So there's a lot that they could have done.
As ABC 15 has reported, the 36-year-old has been investigated for sexual abuse of minors multiple times. As far back as 2007, he was accused of having sex with a 14-year-old girl, pleading guilty to child abuse and facing 10 years probation. It leaves Fox concerned about the vulnerability of young girls in group homes.
I absolutely believe that they failed her in that situation.
In the wake of this tragedy, Fox hopes more people will pay attention to potentially dangerous situations like Zariah's.
To say that she was strong, it was more than that. She was a young girl who has so much weight on her shoulders.
Hoping other kids will have a different outcome. For ABC 15 Arizona, I'm Jane Caffrey.
Both men are arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. One for Zariah, one for her unborn child. Davis also faces charges related to sexual misconduct with a minor. They appear in court. They plead not guilty. The possibility of the death penalty is on the table. And now everything moves into the legal system. Slow, measured, procedural. Her family had been trying to get her out of the system for years. They wanted her home. They believed she would have been safer with them. And now, they're left asking how this was allowed to happen. Because this wasn't one mistake. It was a chain of them. Missed chances, delayed action, decisions that didn't match the situation, and the result is final. A 16-year-old girl, a child that never got to be born, both gone. And the people who are supposed to protect her are still trying to explain why.
She was always in survival mode.
Loved ones say these girls were failed.
I just want to go home.
3 teens, 3 tragedies.
Why us? Why my baby girl?
All of them linked to the Department of Child Safety.
It is not surprising to me that so many kids in DCS care are at risk for exploitation.
The crisis is not new in Arizona.
When they say runaway, the response isn't heightened like the way missing is.
What will it take to make lasting change to keep kids safe?
It's like the system breaks you down.
Fox 10 investigates runaway teens missing in the system. Thank you for joining us. I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lump. In 2014, Arizona's child welfare system was revamped, and the Department of Child Safety was created. Since 2019, it's been a revolving door of directors, with 5 different leaders at the agency's helm, including the current head of DCS, Catherine Patak, who we have requested to interview multiple times, but there's been no response. Meanwhile, teens in DCS custody are running away every day. By the end of July 2025, 115 kids in DCS custody were considered missing, abducted, or runaways. 66 of those kids ran away from group homes. Zariah Dodd was in that category, only 16 years old and nearly 6 months pregnant, in and out of numerous group homes and kinship care. In the months leading up to her murder, there were clear red flags that she was in danger.
A grisly discovery in West Phoenix. A woman's body is found in a park near 55th Avenue in Osborne.
It took sunrise for a man walking his dog to notice the body of a pregnant teen in the grass at Maryview Park just before 6 a.m. on July 5th. A crime scene ensued as Phoenix police learned 16-year-old Zariah Dodd was killed overnight after a gunshot to the head. Zariah was almost 6 months pregnant, expecting a baby girl.
What I do most days is remember the good times. But to answer your question, I'm pissed because the system failed her.
Zariah's uncle Eric Polk, her aunt Canella Bernard, and grandmother Roselle Spencer reminisce on her childhood at a kitchen table, wondering who she could have been.
Bubbly. Always in the mix and always talking. I mean, if she loved you, she loved you. And you could see it was genuine all the time.
Her family says the state took custody of her when she was 1, as her mother battled addiction and her father was incarcerated. Zariah would remain in the child welfare system despite attempts by her relatives to take her into their care.
They tell us to call them if the kid is in danger. Okay, she in danger from her mama, but y'all done put her in worse danger.
2 men are now charged with first-degree murder in the deaths of Zariah and her unborn child.
Please state your name and date of birth.
Jacree James.
Police say 19-year-old Jacree James Gillette made a full confession, telling detectives that 37-year-old Jarrell Davis ordered him to shoot Zariah or he would kill them both.
Jarrell Davis, 9/26/88.
Court records show a paternity test confirmed Davis was the father of the baby, and a forensic interview with Zariah for a sexual misconduct investigation was supposed to happen a few days after her murder. But police learned that Zariah confided in her DCS caseworker back in April, claiming Davis intimidated her into having sex with him in December 2024 when she was 15. DCS says the caseworker notified police. Court documents reveal she was afraid because Davis was allegedly armed with guns. Her family confused about a 3-month wait for the forensic interview.
If you got somebody coming to you telling you that they're afraid for their life, why are you gonna make it that long?
Zariah was staying at a group home in Surprise, owned by Sunshine Residential. The company has declined to comment further on Zariah as the case is being prosecuted. Police say on the night of July 4th, the group home staff denied the teen's request to see Jacree James Gillette but allowed her to go for a walk around 8 p.m. That's when investigators believe Zariah was picked up by the suspects. 6.5 hours later, the sound of a gunshot was captured on surveillance video near the park where Zariah was found dead. Davis and James Gillette have pled not guilty as both men are in Maricopa County Jail awaiting trial.
She had family that loved her, that could have taken care of her, that she wouldn't still be in the system. I tell you one thing, she'd still be alive if she was with us.
Maricopa County court records reveal Davis impregnated a 14-year-old girl in 2007, but pled guilty to child abuse, receiving probation when he was 19. Since then, he's been prohibited from having guns. Last year, Davis violated an order of protection against him involving a 16-year-old girl, located with the minor during a traffic stop in Pinal County, where a gun was also found in his car. He pled guilty to interfering with judicial proceedings, given unsupervised probation, not having to report to a probation officer. Prosecutors in Zariah's case believe Davis was having sex with her since December 2023. It's unknown how Zariah met the man more than twice her age.
Why wouldn't they keep a more watch on her? If they knowing she's asking to go, you don't think she gonna go as soon as she get a chance, you know?
Phoenix PD says the Sunshine Group home manager told detectives that Zariah made it clear to other girls at the house that she was leaving with her baby's father the night she ran away. Now her family can't escape guilt and grief.
In a million years, this wouldn't have come across our mind that this would be the moment that we will be in, right? So how do you grieve? How do you process this? Like, it's hard.
Thank you for watching this episode of Gridline Crimes. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new case. Your support helps us continue bringing you real crime stories, detailed investigations, and gripping cases from around the world. Let me know your thoughts about this case in the comments below. And remember, the truth always leaves a trail. See you in the next episode of Gridline Crimes.